Guys, it's working, bringing you a quick update on Bitcoin. Hope you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. We're looking at Bitcoin to the US dollar 4-hour chart on Bitfinex, guys, and yesterday was very interesting. Bitcoin came up, clearly broke above this it broke above this resistance area here. Told you we needed to take out this prior wick, which was sitting at about 6640. I told you if that was taken out, there's a very good chance we could go as high as 7,000. We did price it and ended up breaking above that, and sure enough, as soon as it did break above, we skyrocketed right up to didn't quite make 7,000. Found resistance right at 6900, right at 6900, and then once rejected from that zone, came back down. This area that was resistance now acted as support for about 8 hours or so, and then it just broke right back down into this zone, guys. This once again trading within this zone here between 6540 and 6280, which is once again, as I told you guys, where the majority of the trading is. I told you we need a decisive break out of this zone, guys, if we're going to get any kind of bullish momentum or bearish momentum. By decisive meaning, I told you we need a daily candle that not only opens but closes above one of these two areas, above 6540 or below 6280. If that does happen, either the bulls or the bears will take control respectively, depending on which way it goes. If we look here at the daily, guys, we can see that price shot up, just wicked right into it, and immediately rejected right back down here on the daily. This gives you a much better perspective of what happened. That was just a pure short squeeze. If we come over here, we look at short positions on Bitcoin. Shorts are continuing to continue to stay stacked. This was the short squeeze that we saw right here, guys. Didn't liquidate nearly as many shorts as market makers wanted to. A lot of people are still holding their short positions, which tells you the retail investors believe this market is going to go much lower. If we come here and we look at long positions, guys, long positions, we're seeing the same thing. Long positions are just moving sideways, or when I say the same thing, I mean suggesting the same thing. Longs are not rising. Longs remain very weak, which again suggests the same thing, which is that retail investors expect the market to go much lower. So as we come back to our chart here, guys, it's kind of as I said, I told you in my EOS update that I just put, I put that we're basically looking at a game of chicken here, and we're watching the market makers and the retail investors play chicken and see which one's going to blink first. Retail market makers want to liquidate those short positions. Retail investors are getting smarter and continuing to hold them as the market makers go stop hunting. So it's going to be very interesting to see if the market makers just let this thing tank and let retail investors make a little bit of money, or if they end up raising the price up and continue to go through a true short squeeze, which would just skyrocket this thing up, and it would more than likely have to come up to at least about 7,500, somewhere thereabouts, to really squeeze the shorts the way they'd like to. So I don't know what's going to happen, guys. We'll see who blinks first, but it's getting very interesting. On this daily candle, today's candle hasn't closed yet, but this is very clearly a very bearish looking candle here, guys. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. Had to pause it real quick. But this is a very bearish looking candle, as I was saying, guys. Looking almost like a shooting star. Now, is that a reversal candle? Are we going to see price tank? Only time will tell, guys. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. But this is not a very good indication for the bears. However, we are still operating in a channel, I should say. This is kind of an ascending channel. Now, this looks to me like this could be a possible bear flag without question. It certainly has all the makings of a bear flag. Now, is it going to end up being that way? I'm not sure. I can see an argument in either direction, to be honest with you guys. As I said, shorts are stacked. Market makers want to liquidate those shorts. They have very much incentive to rise price up. Retail investors are holding those shorts, wanting price to come down. If price does break below 6280, I think it's going to be a very quick drop to possibly test the bottom here, this prior low of about 5860, 5870, somewhere thereabouts, guys. Possibly as low as to this zone. I wouldn't. If price does drop that low, we're either going to see a double bottom, or comes back up, or we're going to drop into this area at between 5850 and 5700. There's a lot of buy orders sitting in here. That's a decent demand zone, guys, so I wouldn't be surprised to see come in here. At that point, we could see a possible bounce. If we don't get a bounce in there, guys, the next level of support, if 5700 breaks, is going to be about 5450, and there are a ton of buy orders sitting down in there. So again, guys, we're going to have to wait and see. To the upside, if we can get decisively above 6540, if we get a daily candle that opens and closes above that zone, guys, I think once again, I think we could probably come up, take out this prior high here, which was about 6900, take it out. This zone here, though, guys, is going to be a very strong resistance between about 7,000 and 7,100, guys. It's a very strong resistance, a lot of sell orders in there. You can kind of see it a little better on the daily chart. As you can see, price came through here, wick, 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 and then just completely rejected. So a lot of sell orders sitting right in this zone, guys. If we can get north of 7,100, guys, I think we have a very good chance of possibly testing the 8500 high. Now, looking at this from a big picture point of view, guys, as I've showed you, this is on the daily chart. I do believe we have one or two scenarios going. I do believe that we are in a WXY pattern, possibly having an ABCDE pattern just correcting. And if we have in fact seen the bottom, and that's a big if, but if we have seen the bottom, guys, we could be looking at 5 possible waves up. What's going to confirm that? To me, what's going to confirm that as soon as we create, as I showed you guys many times, this is a series of lower highs, big picture lower highs. This trend has to break. What will break this trend is the minute we get a higher high from the prior high. So the prior high was about 8,500. The minute we get above 8,500, that will have broken this trend. Doesn't mean it's going to skyrocket from there, but it means that will have broken this trend, guys, and that's going to be a very bullish indication. Well, obviously, we're nowhere close to that yet, but I want to give you guys a big picture so you know what to look for. Until we do break 8,500, there's a very good chance we might get a short-term rally only to come right back down. And here's this is the most bearish possibility, guys. This is a very bullish scenario here. And it's a very accurate count. We could be in a WXY pattern, having completed an ABCDE, haven't seen bottom, and now we're just slowly continuing the uprise. We're not seeing nearly the volume that we need to see for that, guys. In fact, if I come over here and we look at volume for today, guys, volume is only sitting at around 41, or excuse me, about 4.1 billion. That is nothing compared to the past. Look at the last few days. Even yesterday, where we had that little bit of a rise, 3.3 billion, 3.6 billion. I mean, this is just pathetic volume. If we go back to just January, when price, I mean, we were looking at, at least, 15,000, 10 billion was a slow day. We're looking at 16, 21, 23, 18, 15, 18. I mean, consistently between, 10, 20 billion every single day. Until we start getting volume that's consistently above at least 10 billion, the bull run's not going to come. So if you want to know when the bull run is coming, guys, the minute, just because we see a rise in price, clearly that in the past, that's showing you that that is not sustainable. We have to get new buyers in the market, and the only way we're going to get a sustainable bull run is for new buyers to come in, and you'll know that as soon as we start seeing volume on a daily basis that rises above 10 billion. That's when you're going to know that new money's entering the market, and that's when you know that this thing is going to have a a sustainable bull run. Until then, we might be in, and that could happen tomorrow, guys. That could start coming in tomorrow. We could get some positive ETF news. There's a ton of things that could happen, guys. We can see that we're within no question, we're within a wedge pattern here, and as we get closer to the apex of this wedge, we're either going to break up or we're going to break down. Now, the bearish count that I have, you saw my bullish count. Here's my bullish count, as I just pointed out. The bearish count is we are still we still have a failed wave, so we're still in a WX. This was still a failed wave, and instead of this being an A, B, C, D, E, this was an A, B, and C pattern, and this wave here was a failed X wave, and that is very possible that this was a failed X wave, guys. It had all the makings of it. When will we know if this is an accurate count? The minute price drops below this prior low right back here. This prior low was at 5.7. Oh, let me just pull in here. I think it was at 5.775, somewhere thereabouts was this prior low. Actually, it might have been back here. Sitting at 5.755 on Bitfinex. So the minute we drop below 5.755 on Bitfinex, guys, then you'll know that this is a failed X wave and we're in an ABC pattern. And if that is the case, guys, we can expect this little rise here, possibly a little bit higher. It could have even been this little wick right here. That technically would be a very weak B wave, and that would also make sense, guys. I mean, this was a very strong correction, this first ABC. The second one, not nearly as strong, a little more sideways, just a little, much weaker, not nearly as impulsive. This third one has just been pathetic, even weaker. So it would make sense that we have a very weak ABC correction now. So I can see price possibly coming up as high as 7,500, only to get rejected right back down, or it could get rejected right back down now. However, this wedge pattern here suggests as we reach this apex, we are going to get a break, and if it does break to the downside, it would be very much in line with an ABC pattern. And if that does drop, we could be looking at possible lows sitting somewhere around, let me pull back this prior candle, somewhere as low as 5450, which would make sense. It's a very strong demand zone here. If that 5450 zone breaks, then we'd be looking at somewhere between 4600 and 4400. And there in this area here between 4600 and 4400, guys, I do believe this would be the bottom. I don't see us going any lower than this. There are so many buy orders. There's such a strong support down here. This would be the absolute bottom. In fact, if price, I'm keeping fiat on the side just in case we ever get this low, because if we ever get this low, I am going to go all in on Bitcoin between these two, laddered in between 600, 4600, and 4400. Guys, I do believe that would be the bottom if in fact we ever get there. But yeah, this is a very valid count. And one of the things that's supporting my bearish, the possibility of a bearish count, guys, is if we view, pull out here on the daily, what is this starting to look like? This is starting to look like a possible head and shoulders pattern on the daily chart, guys. A large pattern, head and shoulders pattern. Perfect left shoulder, perfect head, and then we've got all the makings of what could be. We're not there yet, but what could be a right shoulder pattern. If that is the case, we break the neckline, guys, we could see much lower prices. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm not saying we're there yet. I'm just saying this is something we have to start watching out for, guys, because this is starting to possibly play out as an inverted, not an inverted, but as a head and shoulders pattern. So let's go ahead and wait and see how this ends up playing out, guys. For now, I'm going to be watching this this kind of wedge pattern here, or this flag pattern here. As long as price remains within this zone, that's going to be very bullish. If we can, and as I said, guys, if we can break above 6540, I'm going to be very on the daily chart, which opens and closes, a candle that opens and closes above 6540, and then in my opinion, we're going to be at least short-term bullish. But let's just wait and see how this plays out, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it there. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. As always, guys, I certainly would appreciate if you could just smash that upvote or that like button. I'd certainly appreciate that support, guys. And until next time, please take care of yourselves. Trade safe. This is Working. Signing out.